to the stream. Hi, hatchlings. Hello. Lizard. It's freaking lizard time. I got my big challenges sweater on today because I'm feeling comfy, cozy, and very relaxed. And today's gonna be fun. We're gonna do a couple of the, what do you call them? Little group reward thingies that I smushed into one stream, which is gonna be eating spicy food and reading spicy fanfics and hatchling Scrandle. This will likely be a little bit shorter than my normal streams are, as my talking heavy streams usually are. We're gonna have some freaking fun. So let me explain how we're gonna do things today. Hold on to your seats, hold on to your hats, and yeah, I'll go over the little itinerary and then I'll do Lizard of the Day and then we'll get started. So I decided on doing hatchling Scrandle first. If anyone doesn't remember, Scrandle is kind of a game online where you can like look at two kinds of food and determine which one you'd rather eat based on pictures and price. And it's mostly British food or UK stuff, like football type confection food, like hot dogs and burgers and stuff. But for hatchling Scrandle, I had the hatchlings submit pictures of food that they themselves made. Now, because we only had a couple submissions, and I do very much appreciate those of you that did submit, we're gonna do it where each round has one picture of food that hatchling submitted and one picture of food found online. Not by me. I don't know which is which. I haven't looked at any of these. Hence why they're all marked spoiler. And you guys and me, I'm assuming chat is going to do it too, correct me if I'm wrong, mods, are going to vote on which one we would rather have with one or two. So it'll be like a little interactive Scrandle with all of us. Yes. Okay. So you guys can go through it with me. And the hatchling Scrandle under Geckothon, the one without the dates, the not thread. And you can pick one or two based on which one you'd rather eat. And yeah, channel's live, so we'll go through it. I mean, you can vote on it now if you want, or we can go through it together. Did I find him online and pretended not to know? No. That would be pretty funny, but that's, no. I like to try to give my full unfiltered reactions to things. And then after this, I am going to put on a little be right back screen because I have next to me chicken biryani from a local Indian Asian food place. And I did not pick the lowest spice option. All right, I went up several notches, so it's definitely got a little spice to it. I tried it, but it doesn't hit immediately. So what I'm gonna do is after the Scrandle, I'm gonna put on a little game for you iPad babies to play while I eat it a little bit, because biryani kind of takes a bit to like build up the spice. I got like half spice because the lady was like 1 out of 10. And I was like, I'll do like in the middle. Yeah, so I'm excited for that. Biryani kind of takes a bit to get spicy in my opinion. Like you don't bite it and it's like, whoa, you bite it and it's like, yummy. And then you eat it for like 10-20 minutes and you're like, oh man, I can't taste anymore. I did not pick the most mild option. Normally I would, but for today I'm like, I should actually have spicy food. And then after that I have some fanfics I have pulled up. I'll give you a little brief glimpse. And I really just picked the ones that I thought actually kind of fit the spicy aspect of things. Now a lot of them looked interesting, but I picked the ones that were spicy in general and not too explicit. So if it wasn't picked this time, it might get picked for another fanfic reading, but I wanted to make sure it kind of stayed a good level of spice. Had 0 spice? That's lame. Where'd Michelin get the star from? The trash? Biryani's got to have a little bit of spice, IMO. But yeah, how are you guys doing? It's Saturday, right? How's y'all Saturday? I cooked today. Oh yeah, I also decided to do Scrandle first so I could get my appetite up a little bit before I eat. Berry and nut biryani. Perplexing. So you slept the whole day away. I also got up late. I got up early to have my medicine and do some stuff. And then I went right back to sleep and woke up at like 1. And I was like, damn. And then I cooked a bunch. I stir fried a whole head of cabbage and a bunch of carrots and some green beans to have on top of some rice I had lying around. And then I air fried some tofu with some sauce, and they have like a crispy tofu snack. I'm trying to make stuff that's good for my stomach because I've been having some weird flare-ups with my tummy hurting recently. So I'm trying to eat healthy, but I also quite like it. They're both very yummy. So my sink is overflowing, and I'll be taking care of that after stream. Have we done Kashmir Rakagama mods? And that's Kashmir with a K. What did you guys do today? Anything fun? Besides Dinah, who slept the whole day? I just cooked, really. And got my biryani. And my frog tried to bite me. We have not done it yet. Okay, perf. I've been looking forward to this. I also got my schedule all figured out. We have a lot of collabs next week. Went to fencing and ate a huge burger. Oh, you got the meat powered you through. Very good. I'd expect nothing less. I'm gonna do the lizard of the day. Hope y'all are ready. Ahem. Ladakia tuberculata, or the Kashmir Rakagama, is a species of agamid lizard found in the rocky mountainous regions of the Himalayas, including northern India, Pakistan, Nepal, Afghanistan, and western China. Known for its tubercled scales, strong limbs, and omnivorous diet to arthropods and plant matter, it adapts well to human-made structures like walls, mimicking its natural rocky habitat. Males are larger and develop vibrant blue colors during breeding season, showing clear sexual dimorphism. Let me see. Diet changes seasonally, opportunistic feeder. Very handsome, very flat. Got the long agamid back toe that we all know and love. Interesting shaped head. Looks very much like a long Uromastic. Very handsome, very nice. Very love him. Yeah, the agamids are cool. Agamid family is one of my favorites. They are just so similar looking. Like, I see so many of them in my pets I've had, but also like just neat. They have very knowledgeable eyes, despite there being no knowledge in their head. All right, are y'all ready to scrandle? So you guys can go along this with me. Just go into this chat here, right? And you'll pick one or two, depending on if you'd rather eat one or two. And it'll be fun. And feel free to tell me if you made it in chat, whatever the dish is. And thank you very much for those that submitted foods. Maybe we'll do something like this again in the future. I'm very excited to see what we have cooked up today. All right. We have here chicken, tomato, and rice. Like a... Oh, I can zoom. I'm trying to tell what kind of spices we have going on here. I think I have that same kind of bowl, actually. So goated, heats up very well. Not gonna get points for that, you know, but just throwing that out there. It looks like something I'd make at home, and it looks yummy. I don't know if the tomatoes were cooked or raw in there, but I appreciate the difference in texture, right? In this, I'm not gonna look at chat until after each round, by the way, so I don't like spoil it to myself. Oh man. I also have these same plates, I think. Oh, why he toes? Hashlings, if that's one of y'all's toes. It's a nice rare thin cut beef thing. A baked potato split 2 ways to Sunday. And 4 pieces of broccoli in front of a dishwasher. I don't know. Both of these, I'm gonna guess this one's hatchling made because it looks more just candid, like, oh yeah, this is what I made. And this one, I'm gonna guess is found online because it looks laid out to put in like a Reddit thread or something because of how like cooked the beef is, like perfectly like pink. Like it might be a little too pink for me. I like my beef a little more well done. But I bet this was posted online and people online were like, why are his feet there? Because it's so laid out, like they want to show the world. I would rather eat... I'm hoping this is chicken. I think it's chicken. I would rather eat the first one. Yeah. I don't know what meat that is, but that looks like dishes I've made, and the meat is just too blue for me, too red. Don't like that. Also a lot of dairy. But I would pick this one. Hooray! I did not look at the toes first. Forgot to crop the grippers out. Sardines and tomatoes fried in soy sauce. Oh, you made it. Thank you for submitting. I haven't had sardines. I know a lot of people initially when they hear sardines are like, bah, but it's very cheap. It's good protein. And I like fish. So yeah. I know I would have like double the amount of broccoli. Both aren't your taste. That's okay. Yeah, you don't have to vote, but you can also just vote based on which one you would rather have if both were in front of you. Good to know though. I've been interested in trying to cook with more stuff like that because they're cheap and like I feel like they're good for you, but people don't give them a lot of credit. Looks like they're pretty neck and neck. Yeah, don't forget to vote for which one you'd rather have. All right, next. This has to be from online. This cannot be real. We got like a spiced rice with pork or chicken, bell pepper, red onion, and like a salad with radish or turnip or something. We got some green onion, we got some cucumber, like a hummus. Oh, this must be like a Mediterranean type thing. Like a Mediterranean dish, or that's not biryani rice, but it looks really good. I would eat it. This must be hatchling submitted. This looks more, oh no, it looks, that's the same plate and the same, I know that style of broccoli cooking. No, it can't be. I think this is hatchling submitted. This one just looks so perfectly laid out. That has to be from online. And this, I'm guessing, is salmon, broccoli, and like a piece of cheesy garlic bread, or I can't really tell what this is. A mushroom cap filled with cheese. That's totally what it is. You see those wrinkles? That's a mushroom, absolutely. Honestly, both look really good, but I probably have the first one just because the dairy mushroom, and I really like hummus and the way that meat's cooked. But both look pretty good. The left one was hatchling submitted. You made that? This looks like something you'd see on a cooking site and it'd be like, here's how to make this. Oh my gosh, I'd totally eat that. That looks really good. Good on you. Look at that. It's so balanced. It's got so many, it's got the perfect amount of carbs and vegetables and the fats and the meat. That's fantastic. A+. And you put it on like, is this a picture frame? You like laid it out too. You got lighting and everything. Yeah, it looks homemade. I like homemade hummus better because it's got like actual like spices and stuff in it, but store-bought is just so fine. Anyway, good on you. I thought that was online. A+. Got a couple bites in before they remembered they took a photo. Or maybe they took the photo with the bites so you could see kind of what was in there. All right. Now I gotta say, at least from my perspective, it looks a little dry. I don't see any sauces, and I'd cook the egg a little bit less so it's got a little more goo to it. Oh. Egg salad sandwich, my beloved. This looks really good, and they added spices and stuff to it too. Oh, chives. Oh, it's got chives. I love egg salad sandwiches. I would have this one for sure. Normally on my like bagel egg sandwiches, I make the egg a little gooier, and I do like a QP mayo as my sauce. I know it's like egg on egg crime a little bit, but it's really good. Now, these both kind of look like they could be from hatchlings. Like this looks really well laid out, but it's got like a basket behind it and some stuff. Like you can tell it's like a person's. But this also looks like someone just made it for breakfast, took a picture on their counter. I'm gonna guess this one. I'm gonna guess this one's hatchling submitted. It looks like one person would rather have it. One vote was made by default by my mod just to make sure that they were visible. You did pull some pics from Reddit. Hatchling was left. Hooray! Hatchling, it's a respectable sandwich. I've had many like this before, but I cannot resist a good chive egg salad sandwich. Thank you for submitting. The bacon monster and liver. Hello, Jarvis. A plate of meat questionable for me and my family. This looks like, oh, it's one of these, like, these grills. I just can't tell what I'm looking at. It's got some raw, like, liver meat. And I'm sorry, it looks like things in RimWorld, the Anomaly DLC, where like flesh monsters and stuff come out and they get like these weird tentacles from the ground. Now it does look like you give it some time to cook, it looks like it'll be good. I would like to see the photo after they cooked it though. I think this is, I just don't know what the bacon's wrapped around. I can't tell if it's like it's so muscly. I don't know if it's like a full like animal limb or what I'm looking at. Is this just a big leg with like bacon wrapped? I want to look at the next one. This is an interesting submission. Oh, hooray. Oh, he's escaping. Okay, so we have mushrooms and little sausages being grilled on the open grill here. I haven't grilled a lot, so like my first instinct is should they be on top of something and not directly on the grill, but also like this is a meal for a respectable dwarven warrior, right? You know, Gulhar the Mighty goes home after a long day and his beautiful stout wife hands him a cold pitcher and pulls these off the grill. Boy, oh boy, he's going to battle happy tomorrow. This is good. I would eat this 100%. I'm voting for that one. Of course. This is just the appetizer, Rylan. Yeah, she's got a whole lamb cooking on the other grill because he has two grills because he's a very well-renowned dwarf and can afford it. And he has a beautiful, beautiful dwarf wife. But it looks good. Like grilling mushrooms. You know, we got the chair looking at nothing back there. It's pretty cool. I'm sorry. When you guys submit pictures for these sorts of things, I'm going to zoom in and it's going to be funny. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to say this is hatchling submitted. You know, some lovely individual was having a nice summer grill. I'm hoping this one wasn't. If it was, I have questions. Can chat please tell me which one is hatchling submitted, please? I do. I inspect and judge, such as the thing. Get your questions ready then. Oh. Okay. Oh, you know, if the picture had just been taken after it cooked, I probably would be less confused. If the hatchling is here that has consumed this and, you know, started hearing voices in the back of their head, would like to tell me what this is and how it turned out. If not, it's all right. We'll move on. Those are definitely, yeah, that's organ meat for sure. I don't know if they're kidneys or like my brain tells me liver. Arifist, it was you. That's why you give off such a terrifying aura. Okay. It was delicious and the voices told you to kill more. All right. Is this venison then? Is this something you hunted yourself? Yeah. Okay. Are they bacon wrapped or am I losing my mind? Because this is a whole leg. And what are these? What parts of the deer? Are these its lungs? Bacon wrapped in pink from the smoking. Okay. You're bringing me back here. I'm getting less afraid because it's, you You know, when things are explained by science and logic, it's less scary. It is a little bit silly. How is that the bone? How it looks at first glance. I'm sure it was good. I also very much, you know, respect hunting your own food and making it yourself. That's very good. Good for the environment. You know, that's very cool of you. It's a little scary. This is the fillet from your cousin. These? I will say I have seen venison meat cut up and it is darker. Not spotting on the highway. Did you hit it with a car and then eat it? My granddad Gek was a bow hunter and he hunted deer with bows back in the day, which was pretty epic. Someone shot it. Okay. All right. I've known quite a few hunting families that give their dog pieces of meat like this from the venison, and it is darker, but my first instinct was that is organ meat. Yeah, my granddad was cool as hell. I mean, he's still alive. Thank goodness. I'm glad that you wanted to smoke it. And you know, good on you guys for making something that ended up yummy out of something that looked like this initially. Get some oregano, Italian spices on there. Just the whole kidney looking piece over there is frying me a little bit. So the random dwarven meal was got online. Okay, you did a good job, Mod, in getting photos that looked candid. Like people in my chat took them. Tinfoil at the bottom of the coals. If I had to guess, I don't know, maybe popping juices or bubbles. It probably has more like blood and juice in it than regular meat. All right. Ooh, this one is a pretty strong skew towards the right. So we got are those collard greens on a pizza? I cut up a lot of greens for my lizards, and this looks like either collard or turnip greens, both of which I would not really have on a pizza. The pizza itself looks fine. It's just I'm just very confused about the leaf on it. I think that's collards. Basil? Is it basil? I don't look at the way No, look, there's the spine, so the leaf has got to be at least this big. I have never seen basil that large. It looks like collard greens. It folds in the middle and it's really big. Okay, they got mega basil then. Also, thank you for the 10 stream streak, Giga. Welcome. I like your little guys. I'm sure it probably is basil. It looks like collard greens. That scared me. Pizza I would give my lizards. Also, a little pool going on over here, so the basil can take a swim. Blurry. Pizza in is that a pan or a wok? I don't, what container is this in? It's like soaked on the sides. Cast iron pizza? Cast iron pizza. What is cast iron pizza? Why is it in like a soaked container? The pepperoni is gorgeous. The bubbles on that are just divine. If you don't zoom in and it's not like blurry, it's beautiful. It's what is cast iron? Like made in a skillet? Like a tiny pizza made in a cast iron skillet? What? I've never heard of that. I thought you made it on like big flat things. I've never heard of anyone making like a pan pizza. Well, hell yeah. Huh. You guys got some of your frickin' recipes. That looks really good. Oh, but the crust on this. I'm going to guess this one is hatchling submitted. Because it's small like that, it looks like maybe they cropped the image, right? Make cake in a coffee cup. I have made microwave coffee cup cake. It's okay. I would honestly, if this is basil, I'd rather have this one. Honestly, this one looks really good, but I know that much pepperoni would give me heartburn, and I like the look of this crust. Oh, hola mole. Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you very much for the donation. Oh my goodness. You're keeping the donathons getting revved back up again. I was gonna say too, tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Monday, it'll probably fizzle out. But thank you very much. I mean, it probably still will, but... Oh. Mods, you might have overshot a touch. Which hatchling submitted the photo? Which one is not online? Make a margarita pizza with pepperoni. Margaroni pizza. Leftist hatchling? What? Sorry for saying you put collard greens on your pizza. I've been making salads for my babies recently and it's on the mind. Yeah, I'd rather... Both of them look good. I would personally just rather have that one. Also, let me know if you want me to, like, make my tail knock it off. I just don't get a chance to show it off a lot. It's freaking sideways. That's okay. Enchiladas? Okay, good. Thank you, chat. I'm thinking enchiladas or something. Like a refried bean, beef, cheese, tortilla. It's definitely homemade. Quinoa. Maybe. Edamame, sesame seeds. Oh. It's got a little thing in the bottom. I know which one hatchling made. It's the first one, which I would have guessed anyway. This looks like something Mama Gek would make a lot. But I don't really have a lot of flour tortillas or cheese, and I'd probably have the second one. Although this does look like it would be bussin' after a busy day. I would eat both. I wouldn't know what it is, but I would eat it. Yeah, if any hatchling that made that wants to say what was in it and give deets, feel free. Next one. A soup. A soup with rice and potatoes and carrots and kielbasa. Indian Mexican fusion chicken enchiladas with shredded cheddar cheese and cooked in some kind of sauce. I don't remember. It was not good. Aw. I'm glad you still submitted it and took a photo though. It's like, you know, I've seen people make that kind of food. It's something or other in a pan. Later, wehehe. Bye. Listen, sometimes those one pan meals are the best. This does look really good. My only thing is the broth is a little light. It might be like a chicken broth, but I always make my broths really dark for these kinds of stews, so that's my only thing with that one, but I still would tear that up. Ooh, quesadilla with, I don't know, and asparagus. I don't like asparagus, very much. I'm betting the first one is hatchling made, and I would rather have that one. It's just, I don't know, the asparagus on its own, the sauce, it's a little bit, it needs help a little. This one, I love me some stews. Yeah, only thing is I'd like probably add like a beef bouillon or some more pepper or something, but that looks really good. I would eat it. Who made it? I'm guessing this one was hatchling made. Haha! Okay, good, then I can tear into this one. This one looks sad. It looks like it's in a mandarin orange cup. That looks like sickness juice. The asparagus looks like it has no seasoning. I can't tell what's going on inside of this except maybe ham, which could be kind of good. I don't know. It's, yeah, more sauce as well. There's not enough. Kielbasa and pre-made chicken broth. Heck yeah! Yeah, I like beef broths for my soup. I'm biased. Very cool though. Very nice, very cool, very sick. I'm gonna guess this is store-bought. Just by the wrapping. Extra seasoning and simmer together says, oh, you're a soup enjoyer. You have good taste. But I had a lot of that growing up. What is this? Like an Italian store-bought sub. Why that bread break his back? This one is hatchling made. 100%. This one is from a store. I'm gonna vote for this one because I'd rather have this one. The cheese looks really good. We got some Swiss. Salami or pepperoni, ham, the bread going, he needs a little help. I want this sandwich. If this was my family and we were making hot sandwiches, I would call dibs on this one. So you wouldn't judge off that. I will judge off that. It looks like a store sandwich. I don't know what about it. This one looks more homemade. It looks like a tail. It looks like an evil finger. Right is hashing made. Left is not made from a store. Oh, do you have any details in the left one? Why does she look like that? Hashling, I would destroy this. Make a little tomato soup or like heat up your soup of choice on the side. Where did you get this bread? None of my bread I get for hot sandwiches looks like that. Also, thank you for a posture check. I have postured. The bread, it looks so good. It looks like bread from Ratatouille. Oh, and they were showing off. Rusticano bread. Oh, this is yours? You made this one, Zitamin? Oh my gosh, send one my way next time you do. Oh, for the bread. He might be stuck like that. I like the little arrow of like flour going on there, pointing at the crack right there. That's where the chiropractor needs to go. No, Zitamin, this looks really good. It looks so good. Did you have soup or anything on the side? You gotta have something. It looks really good, but I know that bread would have me like, oh, so I'd need like a little something in between, you know? Is cool. So the hatchling ones were beep, beep, beep. Was it the first one every time? Oh no, not this one. Was it the first one for all of them except the last one? Oh my goodness. Well, it's kind of silly. It's okay. I don't really... Wait. Yeah. Right? It's not the picture, but you eat it with aioli. Oh. Yeah, I think all the other like online ones were all on the right except the other one. People that go one answer on a touch. It's okay. I wasn't going based off that. I was going based off vibes. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys for submitting. I would eat all of this except that. I don't think I would eat that one. But everything else looks really good. Thank you guys for submitting. So we could do our very own Scrandle. I think that's fun. I think I'd like to do it again in the future if people want to like, if in the next upcoming weeks or months you cook something and you're like, this looks kind of interesting in a good or bad way, and take a picture for future use. Hell yeah. And to that I say, hell yeah. All right, now I'm going to take a little break to drink some water and get my mouth all spicied up with my chicken biryani. So until then, unmute. There we go. It's got like zesty little music. Oh wait, why did I put it on the subathon screen? Wait, I guess it doesn't matter actually. Oh wait, no, yeah, it does. Hold on. There, easy to see. Okay, I got your programs, guys. I'm gonna eat for a couple minutes and I will be back. Hi, I'm popping in to say you guys are doing really good, and we'll proceed whenever you lose, because I kind of want to see how far you'll get. Okay, bye. Oh well. I mean, you guys did really good. I was like expecting it to lose that one time when like one person guessed it in the last second. Let me turn my music back on. But good job. My mouth is I feel spice. I'm going to occasionally take bites while reading stuff. But we are going to be reading 4 little fan fictions. None of them too big. Looks like they're kind of like, yeah, they're all kind of shorter things. But yeah, strap in, get ready. None of these should be too bad. But yeah, let me take a bite before I start. Sorry, there's a lot of rice. All right. Oh my gosh. Clara wants to know how to kiss, and who better to teach her than a close friend? Meanwhile, Asmodeus regrets every decision in his life that led up to this point. Welcome to Demon School, Iruma-kun. I haven't seen this yet. Also, good night. Oh man. Hey, ass. Asmodeus hummed in acknowledgement, not lifting his head from the work in front of him. They were currently sitting on Asmodeus's bed inside his dorm room, facing each other as they did their homework for the weekend. Usually their friend Iruma, someone they were attached at the hip with, would join them, but he had to cancel last minute because his grandfather suddenly decided they needed to go on a shopping trip together. Oh man. As Iruma had a difficult time saying no, especially to his beloved father figure, that left Asmodeus and Clara to study on their own. Who has read this or seen this, by the way? His attention only left the papers when Clara stayed silent and didn't continue with whatever she wanted to say. He turned to look at her, raising an eyebrow when he saw her fidgeting on the spot. Cheeks slightly flushed and homework apparently forgotten. She refused to meet his concerned gaze, staring at her lap instead. Before he could prompt her to speak, more than a little put off at her uncharacteristic behavior, Clara lifted her head, her eyes shone with something different, far from her usual happy-go-lucky look, but it was an emotion he couldn't quite put his finger on. Oh, man. You've kissed people before, right? For a moment, Asmodeus simply blinked at her, caught off guard by the randomness of the subject. When his silence caused her to shrink into herself, he rushed to answer despite his confusion. Yes, once or twice. The only sign that she heard him was a slight nod. Why do you ask? Clara opened her mouth, presumably to explain, but snapped it shut again without completing her sentence. Asmodeus turned to fully face her. The spice stays in her mouth, silently wondering whether or not to press the issue. He didn't have to think too much about it as she bit her lip and swiftly shook her head, her expression shifting to one of determination. Do you like it? What? Kissing, is it fun? Furrowing his eyebrows, Asmodeus hesitated for a beat or two, unsure why his face was reddening. I suppose so, but they didn't mean much to me if that's what you're asking. At her inquisitive head tilt, he sighed. Perhaps I would have enjoyed it more if I had developed deeper feelings towards my partners. To his surprise, Clara grinned at him, any lingering traces of shyness melting away. She nodded seriously as if she had come to a final conclusion after copious amounts of research. Like you do with Urumachi? Without his permission, his traitorous mind conjured an image of what it would be like to kiss the blue-haired teen he was in love with. Blushing furiously, he didn't deny her point, but refused to delve any further into the subject. Instead, he pointed an accusing finger at her. Don't say that as if you wouldn't want to kiss him too. She hummed in agreement at that, unfazed by his correct assumption. Guilty as charged, Clara giggled, pressing her hands to her burning red cheeks as if that would cool them down. Their shared crush on Iruma wasn't a secret to either of them. On the contrary, they often met up, usually in Clara's room, to gush whenever Iruma did something particularly cute, which was often. Because of such meetings, Clara began referring to them as Irumachi's fan club. Surprisingly, Asmodeus didn't mind, claiming it wasn't that far from the truth. Leaving his book aside, he was clearly not getting anywhere with it. Asmodeus rested his chin on his hand. Why the sudden interest? And whenever it starts to get a little more spicy, I'm going to take another bite of the spicy food. With a flustered squeak, she averted her gaze towards the wall right beside him, as if it was the most interesting thing in the world. Well, it's Valentine's Day next week, right? Asmodeus' only response was a slow nod. And we're both planning to confess to Irumachi then, right? The thought alone made him jittery. That's what we agreed to, yes? Clara went for a few beats, fiddling with the hem of her skirt nervously. When she finally broke the awkward silence, it was her face set aflame. And I was thinking that maybe if he happens to like me too, it makes sense for us to, kiss. She hid her face in her hands, peeking at him through the gaps between her fingers. But I don't know how to do that, so I was wondering if the rest of her mumbled ramble was unintelligible to Asmodeus. But he got the gist of it. You want me to teach you, he guessed, trying to keep his voice even despite how much he was blushing. You're always tutoring me, oh man, about lots of different subjects, so it makes sense to ask you for help with this too. Clara quickly explained with a grin and nonchalant shrug, but he knew her well enough to see through the indifferent facade. She was just as flustered as him, killing his throat awkwardly. It was his turn to break eye contact. Teaching you the correct way to solve an equation and teaching you how to be a good kisser are vastly different things, Clara. Oh my gosh, desperate to dissipate the sudden tension in the room, he tried for a teasing tone. Besides, why do you think I would help my rival if Iruma-sama chooses to reject you because of your poor kissing abilities? Is in my throat. Wouldn't that be a perfect opportunity for me to win him over? To his utter relief, she glared at him with her usual childish pout. Come on, that's playing dirty and you know it. The small smirk he sent her was genuine. How so? Asmodeus raised an eyebrow, reaching out to ruffle Clara's hair, which gained him an indignant squawk. Just practice on your hand or a teddy bear like everyone else. But that's not helpful at all. How am I supposed to know if I'm even doing it right? She complained before sighing in defeat, trying to fix the mess he had left on her head. Oh, that's okay, I'll just ask someone else. That made him freeze. Someone else? He echoed, a cold and awful feeling settling in his gut. Clara nodded with an apologetic and sheepish look. Sorry if I made things weird. I really didn't think you'd agree, but I had to ask just to make sure. She fiddled with her hands, a nervous giggle bubbling out of her throat. Because, if my first kiss wouldn't be with Irumachi, then I would like it to be with you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is really sweet and fluffy so far. Oh my gosh. It like takes a few seconds. Asmodeus choked on his own saliva. As she rushed to his side, patting his back as hard as she could. He was very calm. Oh man. Oh man. Aside from Iruma, he was her closest friend, and that's all she meant by this statement. He was very calm. Taking a deep breath, he turned to face her once again. All right. He was sure he was blushing so much that even the heat reached the tip of his ears. I will give you a lesson on kissing, but just one. After that, you're on your own. What was he doing? Was it because she was gonna find someone else to kiss if he didn't agree? Why would he care, though? Clara interrupted his inner debate with a hopeful beam that sent his heart into overdrive. Really? Oh, he was so screwed, wasn't he? Yes, I'm not an expert, but I'll try my best. His response came out much softer than intended. He had to suppress a goofy smile when she lit up like a Christmas tree and hurrahed in victory. However, when she didn't make a move to approach him, he pointed to the spot on the bed directly in front of him. Well, we can't do this with you all the way over there, can we? She was suddenly redder than a tomato. Wait, right now? Oh my gosh. Sorry. Oh man. It's really good, but it's really spicy. And I might be. I'm not entirely sure. My mouth is, well, you know, figuratively. Oh man. Asmodeus huffed as if annoyed. He was actually struggling not to pass out from the amount of blood that was rushing to his cheeks. When else? It's rare for it just to be two of us, or do you want Iruma-san to watch? She was in front of him so fast that one would think she had teleportation powers. Oh man. Okay. He swallowed, throat unusually dry, and prayed for any and all gods that could be listening he wouldn't stutter or trip over his words. I know kissing someone may seem intimidating at first, but it's honestly rather easy. Before anything, you should remember that this is supposed to be pleasant, so there's no point if you overthink it, become tense and rigid as a result, which will only make the experience awkward and uncomfortable for both parties. Clara hummed to show she was listening, sticking her tongue out of the corner of her mouth in concentration as she wrote something down on a nearby notebook. She's writing it down. First, you pull your partner close, usually placing your hands on their shoulders or around their waist, Asmodeus continued, previous embarrassment forgotten as he immersed himself in the art of teaching. Like this. Oh. He demonstrated by gently taking Clara's hand and guiding them until they rested on his shoulders. Her wide eyes followed his every move with curiosity. Now just hug until we're chest to chest. Carefully though, or else we'll collide, and that's not the preferred outcome. Asmodeus felt like he had won the lottery. My forehead's getting hot. When Clara laughed at his poor attempt at comedy. Well, can you do that? He coached, watching as she took his words as a challenge, narrowing her eyes at him. She did as she was told, slowly pulling him to her until they were so close their breaths mingled with each other. As soon as she did, she sent him a smug grin with a triumphant spark in her eyes. Man. He could only hope she couldn't hear how fast his heart was beating. Okay, I did it. What's next? Their closeness was so distracting, it took a few seconds for him to remember where he was and what he was doing. The next step is simple. You'll want to close your eyes and lean in like so. He followed in his own explanation, pausing when there was next to no space between their lips. Clara's eyes fluttered closed. As if in a trance, Asmodeus reached out so he was tenderly holding her cheeks in his hands, not missing the way Clara's breath hitched. It left a funny feeling in his stomach. Angle your partner's heads their toes slightly to one side. And then follow by doing the same with yours, but in the opposite direction. It's a little bit like puzzle pieces. Her voice was so quiet, he only heard her shy question because they were practically sharing the same breath. Oh my gosh. He couldn't help but chuckle. I suppose you can see it that way. Asmodeus felt more than saw her smile. Okay, what then? Do we kiss now? If this is still all right, he analyzed her features for any sign of discomfort, but could only detect anticipation. Please kiss me as. I can't with the nickname. It was her breathless response. How could he possibly say no to that? Oh my gosh. Wait, I can't read this. I can't. It was, their lips barely brushed against each other. It could be called more of a peck than anything else, but Clara still melted against it with a soft sigh. It was unbelievably cliche to have such thoughts, but Asmodeus felt as if he was where he was meant to be all along. It lasted barely a second, or maybe it just seemed like that to him, but he squashed down the strong feeling of disappointment that it was over so soon. Oh my gosh. This was practice. It didn't mean anything. When they pulled away, Clara had an odd expression on her face. Huh. What's wrong? He had brushed his teeth that morning, right? Shaking her head, she blinked up at him in confusion. Nothing, I just didn't hear the fireworks. Did I mess up somehow? Asmodeus had to cough to mask out a laugh. It's an expression. You're not supposed to hear anything. If you did, I would be seriously concerned about your mental health. Pouting, she crossed her arms in front of her chest. I knew that. Deciding to have mercy on her, he changed the subject back to what was truly important. So do you think you're ready to kiss Iruma-sama now? Her eyes widened, her face painted a deep shade of crimson. Of course not, I just followed your lead. I have to make sure I actually understood. Paralyzed, he stared at her. I'm sure you did. It was very straightforward, isn't it? And why did it sound like she wanted to kiss him again? Stubbornness reflecting in her gaze, she stared back at him seriously. Oh, kiss me again, as. Why did he even sign up for this? Why was his heartbeat pounding so loudly in his ears? And why didn't he mind? Did you just lick my lips? I did. Why? I read it on the internet. Was I not supposed to? Unless you plan to make out with Iruma-sama in front of the whole school, then no. Are you actually considering this? All right. That was a good light one to start on, I think. Oh my gosh, I can't read the fluff. I can't. When it's like serious and cute, it's hard to read. All right. Let me take a chomp before this one. I can't. It's so spicy. All right. You know he's cheating on you, right? Izuku stood there frozen with a pint of ice cream he'd specifically come out for in his hands. He was in Katsuki's skull shirt and sweats. Before him stood a remarkably beautiful and stunning Omega with flowing orange hair and amber eyes, skin flawless with plump pink lips. Izuku knew this woman. Of course he knew her. She was Katsuki's current hero partner. She had a rather large fan base, many of which were heavily infatuated with her. Katsuki had a reluctant respect for her, given she was a good strategist. She'd actually been one of the hero partners he's had and he complained least about, even going out to get drinks with her and the crew when invited. Izuku felt dread swell in his heart. His throat clenched and he just stared at her. She ran a hand lazily through her hair and sighed as if this was the most boring conversation in the world. Is all the mouth. I can't feel my lips. Look, I just wanted to rip it off like a band-aid for you, yeah? Her soft voice cooed. Then she looked him over as his pudgy, pregnant form with the double chocolate cookie dough fudge ice cream pint in his hand. No hard feelings, right? He couldn't help it. All right, Empreg. Right. With that, she turned, carrying her wine to the front counter, smiling at the cashier kindly as if she hadn't just ripped out Izuku's heart and spat on it. In a daze or shock, Izuku paid for his ice cream and waddled back to their apartment. When he got inside, he numbly put his ice cream in the freezer and walked to the living room, stopping to take it in. Am I going to try to do the voices? The pictures that lined the walls. All of Katsuki and Izuku, from childhood to UA, to their first date, to many other fun adventures they've had. Don't say that, Dino. All the way to the pictures their friends took as Katsuki proposed to him. Their wonderful wedding, Izuku's surprise party with all his friends when he revealed to Katsuki he was pregnant. God, Katsuki had cried from joy and spun Izuku around, then got absolutely shit-faced, telling all their friends who already knew because they helped plan the reveal that he was going to be a daddy. Izuku stared for a moment longer before making his way to their balcony and sitting on one of their plush chairs, gazing out at nothing in particular. Where had he gone wrong? Did Katsuki start pulling away from him? Had Izuku not noticed it? He could feel his heart breaking, shattering to pieces inside of him. For whatever reason, he couldn't cry or scream. It felt as if it was all being ultra-pressurized inside his soul and swallowing him like a black hole. No way out. Izuku didn't realize how long he sat there in a catatonic state, only coming back to a semi-state of reality when the door opened and closed, noticing now that the sky was a dark blue. Babe, I'm home. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up that voice. Izuku. I can't do it. I'm gonna lose my voice. Babe, I'm home. Katsuki began his coming home routine, taking off his boots, setting his keys down, and the noise stopped. It was quiet for a moment. Izuku, baby? He could vaguely hear Katsuki look around for him as if Izuku was hearing it through earbuds. Eventually, the alpha noticed him on the porch, and the glass door split open. Hey, babe, you okay? You didn't answer when I called. Katsuki's voice was lighter than normal, slightly tinged with worry. Izuku said nothing and watched a flock of birds fly away. He envied them. They didn't have a care in the world. Katsuki came into his line of vision, kneeling down to look up at the Omega. His face was pinched in concern, slightly grimy from a day at work. Izuku, are you okay? I think I found a good middle ground. A day at work with his new hero partner. A hero that wasn't Izuku because he was on maternity leave. I can't. How do you do the Izuku voice? Kachan, this can't be. Do you love her? Izuku's voice rasped out, distant and lifeless. Katsuki's brows furrowed. What? Baby, what are you talking about? You're freaking me out. Your partner. Izuku's voice warbled. Do you love her? Katsuki blanched, face morphing into shock. What the fuck? No! Why the... Who? Katsuki spluttered. She did, Izuku whispered, rubbing his belly protectively. At the store. She told me you were cheating on me with her. Katsuki was speechless, eyes wide. Izuku trembled. Just, please, let me keep my baby. Katsuki growled. That fucking conniving two-timing son of a bitch. With that, he ripped his phone out of his pocket and almost snapped it in half as he hit a few buttons. The phone rang and he held it up to his ear. Don't. I know what you're talking about. This is not his name. He had the annoying name. This is Dynamite. I'm gonna tell you two things and you better fucking listen or there will be hell to pay. He snarled savagely into the phone. Don't you ever assign me with my current hero partner ever fucking again. You understand me? There was a voice on the other side and Katsuki growled. Why? Because she lied to my fucking pregnant mate and said I'm cheating on him with her. He's in a fucking drop right now. She'll be fucking lucky if I don't have him take her to the hospital. If I don't have to take him to the hospital. You know what? Katsuki continued. I'm filing a restraining order. I'm filing one. And if you don't let me, I'm fucking suing the whole agency. Izuku felt like he was coming back to himself, eyes stinging. Had she been lying? Had she so boldly and blatantly lied? Second thing, dipshit. My paternity leave starts right fucking now, Katsuki snapped. So if y'all idiots call me tomorrow, it better only be to let me know she's fucking fired. Don't contact me until my leave is up. Just the occasional, like, alpha omega mate talk. I just can't. With that, he aggressively hung up. He looked to Izuku and pain expression took over. Deku, please stop crying. Please, baby, don't cry. I would never, ever fucking hurt you. I would never fucking cheat on you. I would never. Don't shed tears because of what that bitch said. Please, baby. Don't. They're not gonna call them their litter. Izuku trembled, and finally the devastation and grief that had been trapped in his chest erupted finally. He sobbed with wailing breaths and shook violently. The thoughts of his alpha betraying him had nearly broke him. Kachan, I'm so glad. The relief that it wasn't true hit him hard. Katsuki held him as tightly as he dared, gentle with the rounded belly. He rocked Izuku back and forth, kissing his air and scenting him. Deku, I'm so fucking sorry, baby. I'm so sorry she fucking did that to you. I love you so. Bishi's here. Hi, Bishi. Welcome to the Mpreg portion of the stream. Eventually, Izuku's tears stopped, and Katsuki pulled back to wipe his face lovingly. Let's go inside, sugar bug. I'll make you spiky katsudon. Katsuki helped him up and then swooped him off his feet in a princess carry. I wouldn't trade this for anything in the world, Izuku. I'm doing good, Bishi. I'm reading some spicy fanfics, and eating a spicy chicken biryani. I hope you're doing good today. It's nice to see you. I can't believe you came during the most sus one I think I have to read tonight. Let's see. The agency did call Katsuki the next day, letting him know his hero partner had indeed been fired. She'd also be getting the horrific charge of direct endangerment of a pregnant Omega and unborn child. What is this universe? Katsuki spent his leave adoringly spoiling Izuku, never letting the Omega out of his sight for even a second. Whenever they went outside, Katsuki was like a lion ready to pounce at the slightest threat. Izuku couldn't help how much he craved it and how loved he felt, especially when Katsuki would wake up when Izuku did, somehow knowing his Omega had cravings. Izuku would apologize, say he could wait. Katsuki would roll out of bed, pull it on his sweats, and slip his slides on, demanding to know what Izuku wanted. He'd go out and get it with no complaints. Katsuki wouldn't go back to bed either, instead staying up to watch Izuku munch away on whatever concoction he'd made. When Izuku apologized for waking him or being gross, Katsuki would just smile tenderly and say, I wouldn't trade this for anything in the world. That's insane. So there's no reason the lady cheated, or not cheated, lied about him cheating. She just said that. That's it. Who wrote this? Can I see who? Original character. She made Bakugo have a new like side character that was super hot and lied just for the plot. Sweet fictional dreams. Nice. Nice. You know, that's sick. This was prime COVID time. People were bored. They wanted Deku pregnant. That's cool. All right, this one's much longer, so I'm gonna... Romantic tension. Oh, but this one is sharing a bed and sharing body heat. Oh, man. Okay, I'm doing this one. So this is a slightly alternate ending where Snake and Otakon escape together, but Meryl lives. Okay, so it's the ending I got, but she's alive. Oh, they're living together at the start of Metal Gear 2? I didn't know that. But Meryl has to be alive because she appears in Metal Gear Solid 4. What happened when they escaped? How did Snake and Otakon grow so close? Oh, so this is like right after we left off in the game that we played on stream. Oh. Okay, perfect. So, you know, this is what happens after. What do they call it? The epilogue? Yeah. All right. Oh, wait, let me have spicy. It's back. Clinging desperately to Snake's thermal sneaking suit. Perched in the back of a stolen snowmobile, Otakon was chilled to the bone. The thrill of the escape had worn off at last. The adrenaline rush given way. Now he felt the glacial cold on all sides. In their rush to escape the Shadow Moses facility, Otakon hadn't time to put on anything warmer than his usual tattered jeans and sneakers. Oh my gosh. Tattered jeans and sneakers. Normally he hated how cold they kept the computer lab. A necessity with that many server racks. Okay. I'm so sorry. It's spice. But they were already in Alaska, for Pete's sake, and he was embarrassed that he had to wear a huge parka indoors just to stay warm. But for once, he was glad that his typical outfit included a giant coat draped over his knobby shoulders. The rest of him, however, was not so lucky. Winds torn to Otakon from all sides, searching for a successful point of entry. His hands and face were rapidly growing numb, and he resisted the temptation to bury himself in the nape of Snape's neck, which looked awfully warm under his collar. Or sliding his hands under that vest, under my vest. Otakon unwrapped one arm from around Snake's torso and took off his cold metal glasses, letting the Alaskan tundra fade to a haze on all sides. I need to drink water. All right, better. A sky and horizon bleeding into a blanketed void of blinding light, like the vacuum of space but inverted white and without any stars. Glasses on or off, there wasn't much of a difference. Even his thick lenses couldn't penetrate the barren wilderness. He put them in his jacket pocket. Shadow Moses receded into the distance, a memory in the making. Their snowmobile glided across the sea ice, traveling smoothly thanks to Snake's deft piloting. The engine was quieter than he expected, its low hum occasionally punctuated by the clatter of rocks beneath them. Snake? Or Dave? Taking his eyes off the ice for just a moment, Snake quickly glanced sideways at Otakon. What is it? Everything okay back there? Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Not entirely true, although he'd manage for now. But how far until we get to wherever it is we're going? We're not really going to Jupiter, are we? Jupiter? Heh. Even looking straight ahead, Snake turned his head slightly towards Otakon to indicate he was listening. No, this is a little closer than that. I have a cabin about 50 clicks northwest of here. Clicks? Kilometers. I'm still not used to the civilian thing yet. We're probably a third of the way there. You said you like dogs, right? Otakon did like dogs. He mostly avoided any Foxhound members strewn about Shadow Moses, especially Liquid. Only a maniac would go shirtless in this weather. He was a maniac. But what little companionship he sought was usually from Sniper Wolf and her pack of canines. She wasn't particularly friendly at first, and her wolf dogs attacked most people on sight. Maybe they could sense something inside him. Maybe it was the little treats he'd habitually stashed in his pockets. But eventually the dogs warmed up to Otakon, and their human governess soon followed suit. When one of her dogs gave birth, Sniper Wolf let him visit the litter of newborns in their den. There were 6 pups in total, blind at first, crying for nourishment and affection, and they were all so soft. He hardly dared to touch them, even with a single finger, but their mother and the wolf mother herself looked on in approval with 2 sets of piercing eyes. Otakon went back to his tiny, stark room that night and longed for something that warm. Longed for the intimacy of someone with teeth and claws that would never be turned against him. He wants an alpha. The wolf dogs were all grown by now, and Sniper Wolf herself was no more than a memory and an empty impression in the snow. Her pack of wolves had bayed at the empty moon, bereft of their guardian. At least they still had each other, Otakon thought. Ha, you sure you're feeling okay? Snake briefly let go of one of the handlebars and squeezed Otakon's hand, which was becoming increasingly numb while holding Snake's waist. The cold getting to you? Oh, me, Otakon sputtered. Yeah, I'm alright, just zoned out there for a second. Snake's glove was smooth against Otakon's bare skin. He felt a heat rise inside himself. We're lucky that spring is almost here, We're lucky that spring's almost here, Snake said, putting his hand back on the handlebars. But it's still cold enough for the sea ice to be intact. The Alaskan winter is pretty brutal, though I'm sure you figured that out by now since you've worked at Shadow Moses. Well, not exactly the outdoorsy type, but you probably guessed that already. Even with his glasses off, Otakon could make out the angle of Snake's sharp jaw against the white brilliance of the tundra. The muscles in Snake's throat danced in the light as he chuckled dryly, sending small vibrations through Otakon's body. You never know. I don't like to make assumptions about people. Although, sometimes, I can't help myself. I suppose that's fair. That's fair. I really don't spend much time outside the computer lab, except when I visit Sniper Wolf, or when I used to. Otakon was silent for a moment. Even then, though, I would usually freeze my tail off. It's worse out... Oh, he's saying that, I think. Oh, wait, no. I think this is Snake talking. It's worse out here on the ice. The wind chill doesn't help either. Check the saddlebags on this thing. Mei Ling said she spotted it on a satellite image, so maybe its real owner kept it stocked. Could be a blanket in there or something. Worth a shot, I guess. Otakon leaned back, keeping one hand firmly placed on Snake's waist, firmer than it needed to be, and to rummage through the bags packed in the rear of the snowmobile. He hoped for a spare blanket or maybe some mittens, but all he could find was a box of fish hooks, a few emergency flares, and a half-crushed ration. Find anything in there? Any cigs? The snake asked. No, those are bad for you, you know? Yeah, so I've heard. I couldn't find a blanket or anything, but there's a ration if you want one. Feeling hungry? Hungry? Otakon held it out in front of Snake, as if tantalizing scent would help him eat it. Nah, I already had like 4 rations today. You should try one though, they're pretty tasty. Okay, I'll bite. Otakon was admittedly rather famished. How long had it been since he'd last eaten? What he wouldn't give for an instant ramen, so hot the steam fogged up his glasses. But a ration didn't sound so bad, and it might take his mind off the cold. Otakon could barely tear off the wrapper with his numb fingers, which were already clumsy on a good day, but eventually he opened the ration with enough force to send a flurry of crumbs flying in all directions. He'd been expecting something similar to a chocolate bar, but this was more like a dense, dry biscuit. Otakon bit off a little piece, which immediately expanded into a huge mouthful with the texture and taste of sand. Otakon sputtered. You like it? Snake asked, amused. It's good, very, filling. That's all right, you don't have to pretend. They're not for everyone. Something of an acquired taste. Otakon didn't know how or when he'd acquire a taste for that block of sawdust, but he was relieved Snake wasn't going to make him finish eating it. He stashed the rest of the ration in the other jacket pocket. We're pretty close to my cabin, Snake said. Just hang tight a little longer. The chill doesn't feel as bad anymore. I think I'm finally acclimating. Don't be so sure. One of the last stages of hypothermia is suddenly feeling warm. Otakon knew about hypothermia and paradoxical undressing, but he didn't feel particularly compelled to start taking his clothes off. Or so he thought. Until Snake took Otakon's hand between his gloves and rubbed them together for a few breathless moments, recklessly allowing the snowmobile to go unmanned, and suddenly the idea of removing some of the layers between them didn't sound so bad. Maybe Otakon really was losing his mind from the cold. Is this the part where I start panicking? Otakon asked. Not yet. You'll be okay as long as you don't fall asleep. Then you're a goner for sure. We better keep you talking and alert. Okay, so this weather we're having. Snake groaned. Small talk was not Otakon's strong suit. Billy, do you have any siblings? I did, Snake said. Not anymore, though. Well, shit, what an idiotic thing to say. It's like he'd asked if Kane was an only child. A gooner. Not a gooner. If you fall asleep, then you're a gooner. Oh, geez, I'm so sorry, Otakon blustered. I'm such an idiot. I wasn't thinking. Obviously, with liquid and everything, I'm really, really sorry. You don't have to apologize. It's okay. Snake's voice was surprisingly soft. No, it's my fault. I'm sure you're going through a lot right now, and I just had to reopen the wound with my careless talk. Really, I'm not mad. If anything, Otakon, you're so handsome. I'm mostly relieved to be putting distance between us and Shadow Moses. His shame had given way to curiosity, and Otakon was surprised that Snake was so nonchalant about witnessing the death of his twin brother. You're not grieving? Of course I am, but I don't mourn him more than I mourn any other fallen man. I do feel deep sorrow for every casualty on the battlefield, especially the ones that I killed. Snake paused, letting the silence settle on his words. But Liquid was my brother in name only. We weren't raised together. To him, I was no more than a rival, an enemy he created out of abstract ideas about who we were destined to be. He was my blood, but not my kin. That makes sense, I guess. And the opposite is true, too. Sometimes people can be your family, even if they're not related to you. Snake grunted in agreement. I didn't know how to read that. You're right, Frank. Well, Gray Fox was like a brother to me. We served in Foxhound together back in the 90s, but he deserted our unit and we ended up on opposite sides of a conflict. I left him for dead in Zanzibar land, and yet he still gave his life to save me from Metal Gear Rex. I'm sorry. Snake said nothing. I have a sister, Otakon offered. She hot? Well, not by blood. My dad married her mom, but we were really close as kids, and I wasn't there to help her when she needed it most. I don't think she'll ever forgive me for that. How can you be sure? Snake asked. We haven't spoken in years. I don't even know what happened to her. Maybe your dad knows where she is. Him? No, he's dead, Otakon stated bitterly. There was a hint of remorse in his voice, but only a hint. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't be. My dad was a real piece of work, but it's sort of my fault he's not alive. Or that's what Huey had claimed with his dying breath. Otakon was just a kid at the time, caught up in forces beyond his control. Try telling that to his father, though. Or Emma. If it makes you feel any better, I killed my dad. No way around it, Snake said. But at the time, I had no idea we were blood relatives. Big boss, right? And you're his clone? Otakon broached, unsure how to phrase it. Yep, me and Liquid are both clones of Big Boss. Although I didn't know that until today. To me, Big Boss was just my commander, but that made killing him even worse. Snake paused. I didn't know he was my father, but he was family all the same. Oh, geez, I'm really sorry, Snake. Dave, I mean, that's a lot to deal with. I can't even imagine. That's the life of a soldier, leaving a trail of destruction in my wake. Liquid, Big Boss, Gray Fox, Meryl, the list goes on. All of them were my family, friends, comrades. People I should have fought to protect, but who died because of me. Snake's voice dropped as he trailed off, sounding even throatier than usual. Oh yeah, I'm keeping the music on, it's funny. Otakon was deathly afraid that Snake might start crying. Oh, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo, man. It's not your fault, Snake, Otakon reassured him. And we don't know for sure if Meryl is dead. She could still be okay. Sure, Ocelot likes to torture people, but I don't think even he would just kill her like that. It wasn't a lie. Otakon had some run-ins with Ocelot, and even though the old coot scared the hell out of him, he didn't strike Otakon as someone who got off on killing people. Only someone who got off hurting them. Otakon, the music stays on in the bed. Couldn't we, I don't know, do that one song that was famous on social media for a bit that the guy, practiced the motions to? No. Eliza Gecker to BGM. By Pro Drakey. It's like Drake with two E's. Good stuff. He'll be doing your sleepy theme too. It's a little heads up for you guys. Where are we? Oh, you really think so? You're not just trying to make me feel better? Snake asked suspiciously. No, honest, I know what those guys are like. I mostly kept my distance, but I did work for them, you know? Liquid was probably just trying to manipulate you into thinking she was dead. Huh. I guess you're right. Snake gazed into the distance, but it's something far away. Unseeable. The beautiful pride flag on the outside of his cabin. And I'm sorry about Sniper Wolf. I know she was your friend. Well, friend isn't the right word. More of an acquaintance, I guess. But that sounds too formal, like we were work buddies or something. I guess the best way to put it is that we had an alliance. A truce. Otakon thought of the mother wolf, vulnerable in her den, letting him stroke the ears of the smallest pup. I get it. But you liked her, and I think she liked you too. You were kindred spirits in a way. Snake sounded remorseful, even more so than when describing the death of his own father and brother. She deserved a better life, and a better death. Oh, hello, bees! Thank you for lurking. You did what you had to do. She shot you first, and she hurt Meryl really bad, but Otakon paused, choosing his words carefully. I also think Wolf was ready to die a long time ago. This is gonna sound funny, but if anyone had to do it, had to kill her, then I'm glad it was you, at least. You took the time to understand her, even as an enemy. It's what we owe each other as humans. She wasn't born my enemy. Being a soldier will turn you into an unfeeling machine, force you to see your adversaries as just another target. But I try to cling to one last shred of humanity. It's all I have left. That's not true, Otakon protested. You're right. I also have my huskies. Snake turned to look at Otakon and grinned. It was the first real smile Snake had shared with him in their brief time together. Who's taking care of his dogs when he's gone? Otakon secretly wished he'd been wearing his glasses in that moment, to see Snake's rare expression of joy and perfect clarity. Even with his poor vision, though, it was enough to ignite a small heat within Otakon's belly, a beacon of warmth among a long frozen climate. Take a sip of water. I might not be able to do the last reading, as the horse beckons. I don't know what it is about, I can stream for 6, 8, 12 hours, no problem. But when I read and talk straight for an hour and a half, man. All right. Actually, we're almost here, Snake added. Can you see it up ahead? Otakon scrambled for his glasses, which had warmed up a bit inside his pocket. Peering over the breadth of Snake's shoulder, 2 buildings came into focus amongst the frost and rocks. Is that where you live? The gray building with the little shed behind it? No, that's my cabin, Snake said, pointing straight ahead towards the tiny shack. He then pointed to the wide, flat building next to it. That one's for my dogs. Before Otakon could say anything, Snake went hard on the throttle, sending their vehicle careening over the ice. A cacophony of barking dogs rose across the distance as they closed the last few hundred meters of space, and they finally pulled right up to the door of the cabin, which had a sloping roof and crooked windows. Apologies, I'm tripping over my words. Snake hopped off the snowmobile with ease, landing in the snow in an impressive display of agility. Before Otakon could attempt to peel his stiff legs off the seat, Snake offered him some help. One glove on his waist, one to hold his hand. Do you help your homies down like this? Otakon was too embarrassed to say anything, but not too proud to admit that he needed the assistance. He took a few wobbly steps, tightly gripping Snake's hand to support him before feeling steady enough to let go. Remaining upright in the slush was tough, but the potential humiliation of falling proved to be motivation enough. Once upright, Snake handed Otakon a key. You can head inside. I just want to check on the pack real quick, make sure they're okay. Is it okay if I come along? Otakon didn't particularly want to be alone, especially not in another man's house. A man whom he had just met, no less. Of course, I'll make it quick. Snake led them to the concrete building behind the cabin, which was partially surrounded by a tall wooden fence. This enclosed area was swarming with wriggling huskies, a rippling blanket of gray and white fur. The dogs jumped gleefully, clamoring to see their master once again. Aww! Snake lit up at the sight of his huskies. Hello there, beautiful. Did you miss me? Did you miss your papa while he was gone? Come here, he crooned. Snake opened a gate and the dogs came swarming out, surrounding him with enough force to topple a lesser man. Otakon couldn't believe he was witnessing the legendary Solid Snake make kissy noises at a bunch of big puppies. This is my friend Hal, Snake said. You all better be nice to him. One of the dogs, which had a gorgeous coat and crystal blue eyes, trotted over to Otakon and began to sniff his jacket. Stop. It's gonna be like the Deku Bakugo thing all over again. Hey, I think he likes you already. I think he likes the ration in my pocket, Otakon said. Snake laughed. Maybe you're right. I don't like to spoil them with human food, but you can feed it to him if you want. This is a special occasion. Otakon unwrapped the rest of the ration and held it in his cupped palm. The husky eagerly snapped up the treat. I don't even think this story knows what a ration is. It's like a powdered Nature Valley bar. A treat to a dog who didn't know better anyway, with his hot doggy tongue. Even though he could feel the husky's teeth against his hand, Otakon could sense how gentle these dogs were raised to be. Aw, you're a good boy, aren't you? Otakon said, scratching the husky's soft head. The husky wagged his tail in agreement. He felt warmer, both by the presence of a furry animal and from the satisfaction of winning its affection. It was so easy with dogs. Not like people at all. Snake shepherded Otakon and all the dogs inside the fenced area and closed the gate behind them. Producing another, smaller key from a hidden compartment in his sneaking suit, Snake opened the door to the compound. Some dogs darted in through the doorway, while others slipped inside the doggy doors along the lower wall. A few milled about at their feet, sniffing Snake and his guest. I just want to make sure they have enough food and water, Snake said. They're pretty self-sufficient for the most part, but they get antsy if I don't take them out enough. How do you walk this many dogs at once? Use a sled. Snake gestured towards a wall of tack and ropes. I'm a musher. That's what I've been up to when I'm not busy playing soldier. Otakon watched Snake toss around huge sacks of kibble. I saw how his muscles curl under the burden. For the first time in ages, Otakon started to sweat. The air was hot and thick with the smell of hounds. Snake uncoiled a line of hose and filled the husky's trough with water, and a few dogs drank, lapping up the cool drops. Otakon's own mouth felt chalky with the memory of the ration he'd eaten earlier. He fought the urge to drop on all fours and drink beside the huskies to fill his primal desire to be thoroughly quenched. Oh my gosh. Why is it worded like that? That should be good for now, Snake said. Tomorrow we can take them out for a run together. I'll show you the ropes to sled driving. Tomorrow. Otakon hadn't thought that far in advance, but it was a good word to hear. Almost as nice as Snake say, together. I don't want to hear about bro's primal desire to be quenched. Dude. Why they word it like that? Snake locked up the doghouse, giving farewell pats and kisses to his dogs on the way out, and the men finally made their way towards the human living quarters. Otakon suddenly felt the weight of the day's exhaustion catch up with him, and he thought he might collapse. "Just a fair warning," Snake sheepishly said. "I wasn't expecting guests. The only other person who's ever been to my cabin is Master Miller, and this place is like a palace compared to the pigsty he lives in. Or lived in, I guess. Anyway," he cleared his throat and unlocked the door. "This is it." Otakon braced himself, expecting the worst, but the cabin interior was clean, if not somewhat plain. The walls and floor were bare wood, but a single light bulb hung from the ceiling. A blackened potbelly stove stood in one corner next to a single bed. What they have to share? Otakon pushed the thought out of his mind, and a stool with some clothes draped over it. Some of the furniture, including a dresser and table, appeared to be handmade out of hewn wood. Solid craftsmanship. There was a little kitchenette with a sink and an icebox, and even curtains on the windows. Just needed a throw rug and some picture frames, and the place would be downright cozy. "It's nice," Otakon said. He meant it too. "Nicer than my room at Shadow Moses. Want me to leave my shoes by the door?" "If you don't mind." Snake plopped down on the floor and began peeling off his boots. "Not much, but it's what I call home." "I like it. It suits you." There's two rooms in the back behind that door. One is the storeroom, and it's mostly full of weapons. I don't recommend going in there. The other's the bathroom. There's actually a flush toilet and a shower if you can even get the hot water. It takes forever to heat up, and you only get a couple minutes before it gets cold again, but it's better than nothing. "I'm impressed," Otakon said, "and I'm relieved to hear there isn't an outhouse situation going on. Indoor plumbing is one of the better technological advances humans have come up with. Little comforts add up when you're out in the middle of nowhere. I have some solar panels, but those aren't super reliable in this climate, so there's also a backup generator. I try to keep the electricity to a minimum, though. A kerosene lamp is your best friend during those long Alaskan nights." Snake nodded towards an old-timey lantern sitting on a hook next to the door. "Every couple of weeks, I run the dogs into the nearest town and pick up some supplies. You can hunt big game or do odd jobs to barter for goods, and nobody asks too many questions. The place is full of drifters, so I don't stand out at all." Does it get lonely out here?" Otakon asked. Snake shrugged. "My dogs are good to me, but they don't talk much." He stood up, finishing unlacing his boots, and began fiddling with the wood stove. Even among the commotion of Shadow Moses, Otakon knew loneliness. Not solitude, not when you share a bunk bed with another scientist, but isolation? Loneliness? How could he not? "Still cold?" Snake asked. "Not like I was before, but my hands are pretty numb." "Sounds like some mild frostbite. You'll just need to warm up. I'll get some water going for a shower." Snake walked over to the dresser. Feel free to wear some of my clothes. It'll be warmer than what you have, and probably cleaner too. No offense. We're about the same height, so everything should fit okay." Otakon padded over to the dresser in his sock feet. The cabin slowly began to warm from the crackling fire, and he rifled through Snake's wardrobe. Mostly outerwear and other practical garments, and a pile of bandanas next to carefully bundled underwear, but he was surprised to see a variety of sweatpants and pajamas. He held up a pair of lounge pants covered in dog bones, and Snake re-entered the room. "These yours?" If he hadn't been wearing his glasses, Otakon would have missed the fact that Snake was blushing. Patches of red spreading across his scowling face, another milestone. "They're, nice and warm. It's a survivalist technique." Real tactical print, Otakon teased. "I was expecting camouflage." "Camo isn't my thing. Real stealth doesn't rely on visual tricks, you know." Quietly changing the subject, Snake added, "The shower's almost ready. There's a towel in there, too. I'll give you some privacy." He has his face pressed up against the door, and it's fogging up. Choosing the bone print pants, a plain tee, some wool socks, and plaid boxers, trying not to think about the implication of wearing someone else's underwear, Otakon set his glasses on the table next to the bed and headed off to the bathroom. He peeled off his filthy lab clothes and threw them in a basket next to the shower. Snake was shaping up to be surprisingly domestic, and stepped into the stream of water. It was hot, as promised. Though he was tempted to just stand idly under the steamy cascade forever, Otakon knew he was racing against the clock and immediately got to work. He managed to scrub his body, wash his hair, and got halfway through a second lather on his body before the water abruptly turned icy cold. Otakon inadvertently let out a yelp and finished rinsing the soap off his arms before drying off. Snake's towel was plush, blue, and white striped, and large enough to cover Otakon from his shoulders to his knees. But waiting would only make it worse, and he bared himself to the cold before frantically dressing in the borrowed clothes. Even though there was no mirror in the bathroom, Otakon could still tell that the shirt and pants were way too big. He may have been about Snake's height, if not slightly taller, but Snake had easily 50 pounds on him. Otacon's tiny frame hardly filled the clothes as intended, but the pants were soft and socks were warm. He returned to the main room and found Snake sitting at the table, an unlit cigarette in his mouth. I didn't want to smoke indoors in case that would bother you, Snake explained, apologetic, putting the cigarette away. He was just holding it in his mouth. He held out a metal water bottle. Here, this water's from the well out back, which isn't potable by itself, but I purified it with iodine drops. Oh, thanks. Otacon unscrewed the lid and took a swig. It was awfully cold, but very refreshing. How was the shower? It was exactly what I needed. My hands are still kind of numb, but I feel better overall. Good, I'm gonna hop in myself. Oh, there's no hot water left. Sorry about that. Was he supposed to have saved some for Snake? There was barely enough for one person, let alone for two. No worries, Snake said. I'm used to it by now. Nothing like a little bracing cold to keep you on your toes. He grabbed a couple of things from the dresser and headed off to shower. Sorry, Otacon, it was a cold shower, you understand. Otacon sat on the bed, which was springy and covered in an abundance of blankets. The evening sun slanted through the windows, already setting this early at such a northern latitude. Sparks danced around the fire, and a few leapt from his heart. He hadn't felt this kind of hospitality in years, even in his own home. Surely he'd left behind everyone he knew and everything he owned, but it wasn't like he had much of a choice or felt particularly happy there. Starting from scratch wasn't so bad, even if he had to abandon all of the model kits he'd poured hours into. And then Snake walked in, wearing only boxers and a t-shirt. It was the same type of shirt that Otacon was wearing, but where Otacon drowned in the too big cotton blend, Snake held strong. His broad torso commanded the attention of every woven fiber, as well as the attention of Otacon himself. Not that the sneaking suit had left much to the imagination, but seeing and imagining were entirely different things. It didn't help that Snake looked extra naked without his trademark bandana, his hair now free to hang in little tufts. Oh my gosh, it's happening. Otacon let out a small noise like a balloon softly deflating. That's the sound. That felt good. All the blood washes right off, Snake yawned. And I'm beat. You're not cold in that? Otacon asked, red to face. Me? Nah, stove keeps me warm enough. I see. And he did see. And he did see. Snake sat next to him on the bed. There's only one bed. There's only one bed. You doing okay, though? Snake took Otacon's hands in his own, this time without gloves on. It was the first time they'd had skin-to-skin contact. Snake's hands were wide enough to completely encompass Otacon's, which were thin and delicate, almost brittle compared to Snake's thick fingers. Your hands still feel cold. Something welled up inside of Otacon. I hadn't really noticed, he whispered. Maybe it was the cold, the exhaustion, the shock of the day's events. Maybe it was the touch, the first time he'd been touched with such pure motives in so many years. Raw and chapped and calloused, yet so gentle. Maybe it was the cabin, being the only two people around for miles and miles, alone in their little space, untouched by the rest of the world. Maybe it was the plush husky on the bed, worn and tired but full of love and stuffing, somehow not out of place in the room of this deadly soldier. You didn't say he had a plushie. A trained killer who was now rubbing little circles into Otacon's finger pads to encourage better circulation. Welcome, WJ. Yeah, this is what's happening. Maybe it was just how he was, how he always had been. But Otacon broke down crying. No, you're gonna scare the huzz. A torrent of sobs unleashed into this small room in a dusky corner of Alaska. He sat folded into himself, hunched over his cocoon hands, felt blood rushing into corners that had been oxygen-starved for so long, and he wept. Snake patiently went to work massaging, caressing, articulating every inch of Otacon's hands, driving back the frostbite that had threatened to settle in for good until he at last intertwined Otacon's fingers amongst his own. I don't know, I'm just reading the ones that were uploaded by hatchlings. Also some were picked, or some were taken out because they were a little too zesty. If you know what I mean. Might do this again though, if you have one in mind. It's okay now, Snake said, his voice full of understanding. You don't have to cry. Your hands are warm again. I know that's what you're upset about. Otacon buried his head in the hollow of Snake's neck. Their slumped bodies falling over against the bed frame, and sung his song of aching. I'm sorry, he wailed, dampening the front of Snake's shirt, shuddering into the chest of a man he'd met only yesterday. And Snake, using his last shred of humanity as a bandage to treat someone else's pain, gently kissed Otacon's forehead. He likes him! His stubble was rough, but his lips were tender against Otacon's worry lines. Otacon looked up, squinting through his tears and uncorrected vision, and could see that Snake's eyes were glistening wet in the firelight. Fire! Sorry, I had to sit up a little bit. That's insane. Otacon's heart lurched, its beat reaching a crescendo. More than a purr, but less than a roar. Something in between. I'm sorry too, Snake said, cradling Otacon against him in the bed. Snake lowered them both into a horizontal position, lying sideways on top of the covers, and held Otacon's back pressed to his front. For once not alone in his too big bed, Otacon could feel Snake's body with its hard angles and lazy curves pressed against him from behind, radiating warmth on all sides. They laid in tangled silence, Snake idly stroking Otacon's damp curls as the sky outside darkened. Some time passed like this, with Otacon lying perfectly still, every muscle aching, before either of them spoke. Thank you, Otacon sniffled. Thought you were asleep by now. No, not yet. He turned to his other side to face Snake, who shyly cast his gaze aside. I mean it, though. Thank you for saving me from Shadow Moses. For the clothes, for letting me into your life like this. For the... Unable to say the word aloud, Otacon settled for recreating the act itself, and lead up to kiss Snake's forearm in turn. For that! Snake reddened. Of course, he had said gruffly. Thank you for letting me into your life, for being someone I'd let into mine. I've been alone for a long, long time. Me too, Otacon took Snake's hands and held them up to his chest, guiding one palm to rest on his frantic heart. This is gonna sound crazy, but I feel like I already know you from somewhere. You know what I mean? Like in a past life? Not exactly. More like different versions of ourselves, and this is a continuation of that. Maybe. Oh wait, I messed up the voice. Maybe, but I don't know. I think I'd rather have a fresh start. Fine by me, Otacon said. Let's do it right this time. He kissed him once and they're already like, yeah, together forever. I do have one request though. And what's that? Can we please get under the covers? I'm freezing out here. Wow. Snake groaned, feigning annoyance. Am I not warm enough for you? You're wearing more clothes than I am. We can't all be Mr. Survival Expert roughing out here in Alaska. Laughing, Snake pulled up the covers around them. They fell into a pile of arms and legs, all boundaries apparently gone between them. A waxing moon hung in the window, illuminating the edges of the world. If I'd known being a fugitive was this cozy, Snake joked, I would have done it a long time ago. It's never too late to start, I guess, Otacon replied, and he started by relaxing, letting himself fully sink into the hollow of Snake's outstretched body. Against all the odds, finally home at last. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Who wrote this? Who did this? Oh my gosh, up beneath the title. There. What else have they written? I don't know who that is. Death Stranding, haven't done that. Big Boss. Ocelot. What? Big Boss. Naked Snake? What? Okay, so they do like their they do like Metal Gear, right? I don't know. I'm gonna hold on. I don't want to get in trouble in case it's bad. I'm going to click on that word because what is that? Oh my gosh. Okay. It doesn't say anything bad. After World War II, the world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era known as the Cold War. But in the midst of Operation Snake Eater, Snake and Ocelot sought to reconcile tensions between the two warring factions, leading to firm negotiations and some much-needed release. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. You know what? I just need to see. I just need to see. Snake felt his gaze drifting downwards and snapped to attention, meeting Ocelot's eyes with a twinge of guilt and embarrassment at having been caught looking. Yet Ocelot seemed amused, a coy smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. Don't be shy, I love reloading, Ocelot said, but don't get ahead of yourself either. I wouldn't dream of it, Snake mumbled, his face reddening. I'll disarm any weapons you send my way. I thought disarmament was a reciprocal undertaking, Snake groused, aching with impatience. Removing the garment in one swift motion. They leaned into one another, skin to skin. The iron curtain between them was raised at last. No! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I can't. I'm not reading that. I'm not reading that. No. No. This is insane. They just keep going. Last sentence. But Ocelot had a feeling that their spheres of influence were bound to collide once more. Whether as allies or on opposing sides of a conflict, Ocelot anticipated engaging with Snake in further acts of deterrence. You know, it gets zesty. I haven't seen anything. Never mind. I don't know if I could read that. Sorry, I was like, oh, this is kind of just like lightly zesty, right? Like this might not be bad for a second time I did this. But then I just collecting his own mess. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. I don't need to hear about any man's mess. No, I don't want to read about his mess. But listen, honestly, this level is just the brief glimpse through I've given it is like the furthest I'd go for like zesty fic readings, you know? I wouldn't do any more, what's the word? Explicit than that. That's like the furthest, right? A lot of these were kind of spicy, but very fluffy. It's kind of difficult to get fics that have just the right amount of like, oh my gosh, what are they gonna do next? Without being like explicit, like adult. I mean, of course they're all adult, but like super harsh terms and detailed scenes. That's what I'm saying. That's the kind of stuff I wouldn't want to read. But that, except for his mess, you know, which if I were reading that, I'd probably just be like, you can read that yourselves. Like, that's fine. Yeah. And how the mess was made. Yeah, you know, you guys can read that on your own if you want. Let me know what you think. But I'm gonna give my voice a break and make some tea. All in all, very fun. I like doing the Scrandle, and I'm gonna save the rest of my biryani for tomorrow because that's a lot of food. Very spicy, but it was so good that I don't care, you know? That's how biryani is. I don't know what the spices they use, but like I like Asian dish spicy. Whatever they put in Indian food to make it spicy, or like Thai food, I like it. I like it a lot. I don't know what it is. I find it much more manageable. It's really good. Anyway, thank you guys for joining. I don't do reading streams like this very often because I tend to lose my voice, but they're fun to do now and then. Also agreed, Indian and Thai food have best spice. I put out my schedule, but we have a lot of fun stuff to look forward to this week. Let me pull it up on my Flickr page. I know you guys already know, but yeah, we're playing Portal 2. Portal 2 is happening Monday, and we're continuing Skyrim. Wishes, Eerie, coming back, and we're continuing with Kumo again. And Repo, I'm playing with some Paligators. Be sure to join and see who's there. My gosh, Deku, my Omega. I'm so glad you're Mpreg. I'll get you whatever you want. Yeah, I'm gonna, I feel like it is pretty close to my snake voice, but my snake voice is more like monotone a little bit. Anyway, thank you guys very much for joining. I had fun. I like doing little just chatting streams like this now and then, even if they're not typically what I do. Fingers crossed I hear from Art Mama soon, because oh my gosh, I'm checking my email like every day. I hope y'all have a lovely rest of your day or night, and a good day tomorrow, because I won't be streaming. Wherever you are in the big wide world. I'll see you later, alligators. Viva la Mpreg fanfictions. Ekeko!